Kayla. I never do videos with my face in it. I've been trying to do it more. I'm hiding the fact that I just was enraged by trying to set up the camera for like 20 minutes to get good lighting. So this is what we're working with. You're propped up on a bed. I need to get a little tripod. But with that being said, today we're talking about Mars and Gemini. And I typically wouldn't make a video on this transit alone unless it intercepted with like one of the new or the full moons, which it does. And you can watch my new moon in Virgo video where I talk about the square to Mars that's kind of gonna, you know, ignite this transit for everybody depending on your rising sign. It's obviously gonna hit harder for you. But we're gonna just talk about what Mars and Gemini means, what it's going to manifest as with each rising sign, and what we need to look out for, especially once it goes retrograde. So the reason I'm making this video is because I keep seeing a lot of content on TikTok specifically. You guys know how I feel about TikTok. As much as I love that app when it comes to spirituality, astrology especially, there's a lot of misconception and fear mongering and making things seem a lot more horrific than they need to be, which just scares people. And then you're always kind of on edge thinking that you're about to go through this transit that's going to ruin your life, and it's simply not the case. So that doesn't also mean though that it's going to be like, you know, sunshine, rainbows, flowers. There is going to be some challenges that come with it, but I'm going to tell you guys how to walk through it, what you can expect, etc. So I have my notes in front of me. I need to try and fix my posture as well. Mars itself, we need to talk about, is the planet of action, change, assertion, aggression, how we go after the things that we want. It's like what lights a fire underneath our asses to go after things. It's even some of our sexual energy, our anger, our resentment, our vitality, what gives us the energy to like hop out of bed in the morning and have passion for things. It's a very aggressive, fiery planet. Think of Aries, think of Sagittarius, think of all the fire signs, think of Scorpio too, the little edge of fire that Scorpio camera. Oh my god, my camera already stopped filming. Oh my god, are we even going to be able to get through this? This is the type of energy we're working with, anger and frustration. As I was saying, it stays in one sign for about 2 months on a usual cycle. So it usually takes about 2 years to go through all 12 signs of the zodiac. It's very fast moving. It's similar to the sun, like how when the sun moves into a new sign, we're like, oh, it's Leo season. Oh, it's Virgo season. Today is the beginning of Virgo season, by the way. Love Virgos. So when Mars transits a sign, it brings with it that vitality, that energy, that change, the cord cutting, the, you know, fast-paced movement to whatever sign it's in and wherever area of your life that it rules. So Gemini, we need to talk about Gemini because that's where Mars is currently transiting for the next 7 months. I want to really make it clear that this is not normal. Like I said, Mars usually takes 2 months in one sign. So 7 months, more than half a year, is really going to impact everybody, no matter, you know, regardless of if they have Gemini placements, regardless of if they're not Mars ruled. Gemini is a mutable air sign. It's consistently changing and being flexible to new people, environments, circumstances. It likes change. It thrives off of it. It's ruled by Mercury. Mercury is the planet of communication, speaking, talking, writing, emails, news, media, social media, you know, getting from point A to point B, short trips, cars, comedy, information, the internet, technology. So with Mars transiting into Gemini, this is a lot of conversations, a lot of information, a lot of fast-paced change, rapid movement when it comes to those themes. Now, with that being said, we have to talk about Mars retrograde. Am I super excited for it? No. That's because I am Mars ruled by being a Scorpio rising, and it falls in Libra in my 12th house. So it's not that exciting for me. However, Mercury retrograde in general typically takes those themes that we just talked about, so energy, vitality, change, and it almost sinks them down. It almost like puts a veil over them, or it makes them a little bit muddier. So instead of being able to run like we're on a track, it's like we're trying to run through quicksand. It dilutes the themes of Mars into a little bit more of a calmer yet frustrating type of energy. Having frustrations around energy, productivity, your vitality towards things, your passion towards things, your understanding and determination to go after the things that you want, or just changes around things that you're typically used to are expected. Anything from like angry outbursts to destructive impulsivity, even struggling to trust your instincts because Mars itself is a very instinctual planet. Slowness, delays, obstacles, frustrations, all of those things you can kind of expect to have to start dealing with during the Mars retrograde. Also, if you have a Gemini Mars, you're having your Mars return, which means you're gonna really get like superpowers here. You're gonna have that energy, that vitality. But with the Mars retrograde, it's gonna hit you a little bit harder. So Mars entered Gemini on August 20th. Our brain power is like on X Games mode. We have a lot of drive, determination, energy to go after the things we want, get from point A to point B, relay information, have new ideas. Enjoy this energy from August 20th all the way until October 30th, so right before Halloween, because October 30th to January 12th, 2023, Mars is going to be stationing retrograde. So that's where that depletion and energy, frustrations, that type of energy is going to start coming in. You can kind of expect to lose some steam around the area of your life that Gemini falls in around that time. So anything that you got to do, try and like pencil it in before up until that point. If you're wondering how this Mars retrograde energy is going to manifest for you, if you're like, when was the last time this was happening? What was happening in my life? This is going to help you be a little bit less scared if you have anxiety or you just get worried that's going to be something really bad. The last time Mars went retrograde was actually September 9th to November 13th of 2020. It was in Aries, so it wasn't in Gemini. It's going to have a little bit different of an influence, but you can look back in your camera roll, in your memories, what was going on around that time to kind of see how it impacted you. And then as we wrap up this entire 7-month cycle, Mars is going to leave Gemini and enter Cancer on March 25th of 2023. I'm saying that because I'm like, holy shit too. I don't know where I'm going to be around that time. So Mars is going to reside and station direct for a few more weeks in the air sign of Gemini before transitioning into the water sign, and we'll be able to really apply all of the mental connections we made, all of those Gemini like intellectual ideas and stuff like that to our emotional world as it enters into Cancer. With Gemini, we take things that we're familiar with, new ideas, new ways of thinking, and applying that to our foundation with Cancer. And that's gonna end the 7-month cycle. So to see how this energy is gonna affect you on a personal level in terms of the new moon in Virgo, you can watch the other video I have because there is gonna be a square to the new moon. I get really deep on that aspect specifically. But we're gonna talk about where Mars is falling in your chart based off of your rising sign. Please go off of your rising sign and not your sun sign. We're going to talk about what area of your life it's going to be affecting and what you can expect. Aries risings, this new moon is happening in your 3rd house of everyday routine, short trips, social media, friends, family, and environments that are super familiar to you in your everyday life. This is also ways of thinking, the books you're reading, the social media accounts you follow, the content you consume. A lot of fast-paced energy around there. You might be taking a lot of short trips. You might be getting a new car. Expect frustrations around those themes as well come that retrograde. Try to like wrap up any details you need to around those themes before that time. Taurus risings, this Mars transit is going to be happening in your 2nd house of self-worth, income, values, and possessions. So this is really going to be bringing a lot of energy and vitality to what you want, what you own, and how you feel about yourself, and nobody else affecting it. When it comes to that retrograde, I would be careful with big purchases, with making impulsive decisions in the sense of like your sense of style, the things that you're buying, the way that you maybe are making impulsive decisions in the name of like, I deserve this is for me, like an egoic place. Gemini risings, you're the star of the show here, of course. This is happening in your 1st house of self, identity, who you are, what you look like. So this is intense because you really are like the main character with this energy. Having Mars transiting your 1st house for 7 months is like insane because you're having this incredible boost of energy and vitality and drive, and really it's like, it almost makes me think of like getting an adrenaline rush or like having to get your body cleared or something like that, where it's like you're just waking up again, you're being struck by lightning. With the retrograde, do not do anything impulsive with your hair, your body, throwing yourself into a very impulsive situation where like you might have to commit to something long-term because you might regret it, or you might backtrack or be like, why the hell did I get myself involved in this situation? Be careful with those things, but enjoy this energy. This is going to be really exciting for you in terms of new ideas, maybe moving around a lot, having like a complete glow up when it comes to either your looks or who you are as a person, having a lot of rapid change and transformation and adaptability to those things. Cancer risings, this Gemini transit, this Mars transit is going to be happening in your 12th house of your subconscious mind, sleep, dreams, hidden information, healing, and endings. So this is crazy because this is happening in a very sensitive like mental health area of your life. It's all going to be up here and all a little bit in here too. I think this is going to bring a lot of rapid healing and transformation to you in your internal world. With the retrograde, be careful with who you trust. Be careful with your mental health, and be careful with being under the influence with drugs, drinking, anything like that, escapism, addiction, where you kind of escape, for solitude. Be careful with those things, just because you might be trusting the wrong person, or you might be dipping a little bit too deep into an area of your mind that you might not be able to come back from. Be careful with that, but use this as a fun, rapid, transformational time for healing. Leo risings, this Mars transit is happening in your 11th house of friends, groups, communities, social media, money, and influence. So I really feel like you might be getting the big bucks, because the 11th house is really slept on in terms of like making money off of other people. And I know that maybe the way that I'm wording that sounds like very supervillain-esque, but the 11th house is how you influence people, how people see you as a superpower, an authority, a leader of some sort. So to have Mars here, it's like you're really, it's like campaigning for yourself almost. People are looking at you, you're on stage, they're the audience. Be careful with the retrograde in terms of friendships, people you're surrounding yourself with, getting too involved into a group that you might second guess later, and be careful with, I would say, trying to rush any manifestations. Virgo risings, this Mars transit is happening in your 10th house of career, public image, reputation, accomplishments, and your success. So this is exciting for you, because this is your 10th house. This is your confidence, who you are, your legacy, your career moves, getting a promotion, doing all the great things when it comes to your work life. With the retrograde, I need you to be careful with being too boastful, with being too cocky, or with overexerting yourself in a way, possibly professionally, that might kind of screw you over. It's like, you know, acting like you got something before you got it, and like posting about it, telling people about it, and then you end up not getting the thing, or you end up backing out of it or something like that. So there might be a project that you begin and then you second guess it, or you have to backtrack. Try not to stress out about it too much, but enjoy this energy and ride with it. If you want to start a business, if you want to go after a promotion, if you want to switch career paths entirely, this is your time to do it. Libra risings, this Mars transit is happening in your 9th house of spirituality, philosophy, traveling, higher education, and broadening your horizons. So this is really exciting for you in terms of travel. And if you're not actually taking flights or going on trips, this is traveling up here, traveling in your mind through learning new things, possibly going back to school, meeting like a spiritual mentor, just kind of expanding your mind in that way. This is learning something new, maybe learning a new practical skill. This is a lot of energy around like your psyche in a way that isn't too subconscious, but is more like applying your knowledge and being able to run with it and go further and broaden your horizons in that way. I would say that this could be a great time to like learn a new language, go abroad and take that language somewhere, go back to school, learn a new skill that you would probably have to like learn over a certain amount of time, like taking a course or a program that would be over a few months. With that retrograde, be careful with committing to an educational program that you didn't learn too much about, or you didn't look into too much. Like it could be something where you go to buy a course and then it ends up being a scam or something like that. Just be careful with that. And with planning trips, I would triple check all the details, especially because we are going to be having a Mercury retrograde coming up as well. So just triple check all of the details, where you're going, research about it before you commit to anything too quickly. Scorpio risings. I'm a Scorpio rising and I'm a little bit nervous about that, but it's nothing bad. It's nothing bad. It's just going to be intense for us, because we like to observe and to keep quiet and to not share our feelings all the time, and to not share the information that we know. And I feel like this might kind of uproot it and claw it out of us around this time. But we're going to be having this Mars transit in our 8th house of sex, death, taxes, investments, things that we share with other people, whether that be literally money or metaphorically trust and transformation. So we're having a lot of rapid change when it comes to like closing one chapter of our life and beginning another one, slamming the door shut on who we think we know that we are today. And, you know, by the end of the 7 months, being a completely new transformed person. With the retrograde, careful with credit cards, shared investments, signing any contracts or leases, doing anything where you kind of need the cooperation or the cosign of somebody else, because there might be some muddy water and confusing information in that realm. Sagittarius risings. This Mars transit is happening in your 7th house of relationships, interpersonal relationships. They don't have to be limited to romantic ones, commitments, business partnerships, and your known enemies. I really feel like you're looking around at your circle for the next 7 months and you're just like adding and removing people, and curating the world that you keep around you based off of the relationships that you have. This could be really successful in terms of career opportunity, like business partnerships, signing a deal or a contract to go in on somebody, but I do feel like with that retrograde, you need to be careful with your friendships and the people closest to you. And it's not to say you can't trust them or they're bad people, but you might just be like, I don't know if I vibe with these people anymore. I don't know if this is an authentic friendship to who I am anymore, and having to really not second guess, but maybe make some decisions and some cord cutting around those themes. It could look like getting in a new relationship. It could look like meeting a new romantic partner and maybe stepping into a commitment, but this could also look like the energy and the drive and the passion of a honeymoon phase and then getting engaged too quickly. So just be careful with those things. Capricorn risings, this Mars transit is happening in your 6th house of work, health, productivity, habits, servitude, and pets. So this is really cute. And I think it's very, the 6th house gets limited to being very boring or very mundane because it's work, it's your everyday routine, it's the way that you take care of your body, the food that you eat, etc. But I think this could be really good for you in terms of 7 months being a long time to kind of, for lack of a better word, get your shit together and create a really sturdy routine and foundation for you to bounce off of. There might be some changes at work or with co-workers, hiring people, firing people, working at a new job, switching up your schedule. In terms of got a phone call. Sorry about that. In terms of the retrograde, be careful with, I would say, workplace gossip or details or confusing, like taking on projects that you don't even know if you're going to be compensated for, things like that. When it comes to your work life, be careful with buying a pet by being very impulsive, like being like, I want a dog, I should just get a dog, and then like being overwhelmed by the fact that you really have to take care of it. And be careful with your health. If you think you are sick, get the help and stay home. Do not brush over it and just tell yourself, oh, you're going to get better. It could be something that could become a larger issue. You should just, nip it in the bud and try to take care of it as quick as you can. Otherwise, I think this is a really good time for you to make insane progress when it comes to projects, work, setting the foundation for your career, and maybe even getting paid more. Aquarius risings, this Mars transit is happening in your 5th house of fun, romance, sex, dating, creativity, and entertainment, and children as well. So this is really exciting. Mars transit the 5th house is literally like what everybody wants. You're kind of getting the fun end of this because it's literally meeting new romantic, endeavors, new romantic partners that maybe you won't marry, but you have a lot of fun with. It could be really good in terms of like your, creative projects, having a passion project or something like that. You need to be careful. If you don't want children, you need to be careful with this because this could look like an accidental oopsie, and I don't want you to have to deal with that or go through that. So be careful with things like contraception. If you do want children, this could be a really good window of conceiving. So if you're planning to have children, this could be a great time for that. Of course, just make sure you're ready and triple plan for all the things that could go wrong, because that retrograde window could look like, having a scare or something like that. But I think this could be a really incredible time for you to dive back into your inner child, do things that feel good, do things that are fun, do things that are pleasurable. This is kind of a spoiled area of the chart where it looks like you going out a lot, going out to a lot of restaurants, a lot of concerts, being invited to a lot of things, meeting a lot of new people. And it could be very exciting for you. I would say just be careful with things like who you're sleeping with if you don't really know them or trust them, especially on a health level, or if you don't want children. And be careful with maybe during that retrograde period investing too much money into a project if you are expecting that money to come back to you. Don't spend anything that you're not ready to lose. Pisces risings, this Mars transit is happening in your 4th house of home, family, private life, real estate, and who you are at the core, who you are behind closed doors. Mars transit the 4th house is interesting because you're taking a malefic planet, something that is arguably tougher and like a troublemaker that brings a lot of energy and change and frustration to it, to your 4th house. And for this to happen for 7 months, there's some fated things that need to be hashed out between you and your family, you and where you live, your moving situation, your living situation. With that retrograde, I could see some maybe frustrations or complications in terms of like trying to get into a new apartment, trying to sign a mortgage, like there being some confusion with closing on a house or something like that, or some frustrations, delays, things just taking too long and becoming too annoying for you. I would say to be patient. I know that advice is annoying, but that's probably what you need the most with this. And when it comes to fighting with family, again, that you no longer need to hold, and being able to clear that out for good and have a clean slate. That you no longer need to hold, and being able to clear that out and finally have a clean slate. Thank you guys for listening. I hope this helped you guys get a clear understanding of what this means. I am excited for it. I honestly feel like I already kind of felt the beginning and changes of what this means, but I'd love to hear how you think it's going to affect you guys, if you feel like you already see it resonating. If you would like to book a reading to see how this is going to affect you specifically based off of your rising sign, but also your natal placements, your birth chart in general, I'll have the website to my link in my bio. I have a bunch of different readings too. If there's other ones that you're interested in, I have synastry, compatibility, career, life purpose, all those things. This is gonna be a long transit. We gotta get cozy with it, and we gotta work with it, not against it, and just kind of go with the flow, roll with the punches. That's what Mars is all about. It's change, especially in Gemini. You gotta be flexible, you gotta be adaptable. We're gonna come out of this with a lot more knowledge and drawing a bigger conclusion about what this means for us and the transformations we'll have through it. So if you guys have any questions, you can comment them. Please like and subscribe if this video helped you, and thank you guys for trusting me. Also, I always forget to include that if you guys want weekly horoscopes, monthly horoscopes, the transits day by day, you can follow my Patreon in my bio. Super affordable. You can cancel whenever. There's no commitment. $5 a month is the cheapest, and it goes up from there. Okay, love you guys.